And boom, everybody pops in finally. Awesome. Okay, morning everybody. Give me just a sec to get my screen straight. And there we go. All right. Vocab lesson Tuesday last night, that's been checked. I'm going to quickly review that in just a sec here. Grammar lesson 8 to do tonight. And then the other thing one of the main thing we're going to do today, I take up the majority of our time, is to look into AP Classroom Unit 1. And we're going to actually look into AP Classroom itself. I'll give you my view, which should be the same as yours, of kind of the overview of the units, some videos that we're going to work with that are in there, and then how we're going to kind of have that supported by reading some short stories from the Parian anthology over the next couple weeks for this first unit. And that should pretty much take us through the end of the quarter, okay, which is like next 2.5 weeks or so. All right, let's quickly go over the vocab here. If you have it handy and want to participate, exercise 1, 5 words in there. What you got? Feel free to raise your hand and tell us. Is that a hand, Jaron? Just scratching. Shoot. Yeah, Carly, tell us. And don't worry about mispronouncing them. They're hard words.
Vestige.
Mm-hmm.
Procrustant.
Yep.
Metamorphosis.
Yep. Carte blanche is how you pronounce that. Yep.
And Donnybrook.
And Donnybrook. Good. That's a fun word for a fight. Donnybrook. All right. Number 2. Number 2. Yeah, Annalou.
Brigand, nonchalant, contemptuous, interlocutor. I don't know.
That's pretty much right. Interlocutor. Yep.
Interlocutor and rife.
Good job. And number 3, somebody else. Yeah, Bobia.
Okay, you got Stygian.
Stygian. Yep.
Stygian, non-nomenclature.
Nomenclature.
Sophistry.
Yep.
Incantation. And cosmetologian.
Cosmopolitan. Yeah. All right. You had them right. Okay. Let me make sure I'm giving participation here. And Carly Aldridge. Okay. Anybody have a sentence completion, especially if it involves some dark humor that they would like to share? You guys need to get in the spirit of this. Or something totally normal and boring. That's fine too. That's not a normal root word in the root part of that word. I'm not sure of the exact etymology of the word Donnybrook. It's a really strange word. Sentence completions, anybody, any one of them, 1 through 15, doesn't matter. Yeah, Bailey.
Okay, so many people know that H2O is the nomenclature for water.
Which number was that?
5.
Oh yeah. That was a really twisted sentence there, Bailey. I don't know what kind of sick game you're playing, but all right. Anybody else? I have to show off my face mask. Can you read it? No, you probably can't, can you? It's a cat, and the cat is saying apostrophes do not make nouns plural. It's a very important message. My favorite face mask. How nerdy is that? Bailey, you're like scowling at me. My God. Donnybrook is from an Irish origin. Apparently there was a fair in Dublin where, oh, wow, it does sound very Irish. Wow, cool. I didn't know that. Thanks, Ariane. Okay, anybody else on that? But Aussies use it a lot too, interesting. Okay, over to roots, prefixes, and suffixes then. Number one, A would be something producing redness. B is producing brilliant or rainbow-like colors. C, becoming red. D, recovering from sickness. E, a rainbow-like display of colors. And F, a strength of mind. Number two, if you're a musician, you know that crescendo means to become louder. A valiant knight could be anything about chivalry, doing something for the lady or the queen. And then there's plenty of other words with that root in there: valiant, valid, validate, value, etc. Anybody in the mood to infer? Would anyone like to infer? No inferences today? Okay, good enough. Creative usage due next Tuesday would be the next thing to do with that vocab. Okay, back to our agenda real fast. Okay, grammar lesson 8 due tonight. Already said that. Okay, let's go to AP Classroom. Don't worry about going to AP Classroom yourself. Obviously, all of us are able to access it because you did your summer work on there, right? So you've had some experience with the interface, right? But when you get into AP Classroom now, what you will see is this, okay? You have, I just realized something. I wanted to be recording this and I'm not. Hold on just a sec. It does say recording. Oh, I am recording. Okay, good. I actually remembered. It's really hard to remember to record for some reason. I don't know why. And back to screen share again. Okay, so in each of these 9 units that we'll do, see there, the first one is prose, this is poetry, this is major work, this is prose, this is poetry, this is major work, and same thing with 7, 8, and 9. What you see in the first 2, because they're producing these as we go, is in addition to these skill categories, we have these videos over here followed by topic questions. And eventually all those units will have that. They're working their butts off producing those for the COVID era because they're going to be very useful, since it's not really a situation where we can have a lot of, discussions. So this kind of puts a teacher in front of you doing stuff where you can take notes live as you watch the video, which otherwise I could do myself, but that would be an insane amount of work. And they've done a really good job making a video literally for every skill in the entire curriculum. It's pretty amazing what they're doing. So before I tell you what you guys are going to do, let's look in the unit guide, which gives us a little bit closer look at what all these goals are. Okay, so it tells us this unit is around 10 class periods. It's about 2 weeks. And it has kind of an introductory page here. I'm not going to read all of these building core skills, just kind of previews this kind of stuff that's going to be in here. But the big ideas are character, setting, structure, narration, and literary argument. Literary argument is always in there because we're always working toward being able to write full essays in the format that we'll expect on the test. And we'll revisit these big ideas in many of the units, if not all of the units, but they'll go to kind of more advanced skills within the big ideas. So it's like big ideas, essential understandings, and skills. So here's the real overview, all right? So there's an essential understanding about character, there's a skill that we want to learn, and then there's some specific essential knowledges with ways to apply that. Obviously, I'm not going to read all through that now, but let's take a quick look at the skill for each one. So regarding character, we want to learn to be able to identify and describe what specific textual details reveal about a character, that character's perspective, and that character's motives. And so the first short story that we'll do will definitely touch on that. It'll also touch on setting. We want to be able to identify and describe specific textual details that convey or reveal a setting. Structure, which means STR is abbreviation for plot and structure. Technically, we want to be able to identify and describe how plot orders events in a narrative. It's kind of a weird way they use that word there. That's the verb how a plot creates the order of events in a narrative, in other words, because it's not always chronological, right? You want to be able to explain the function of a particular sequence of events in a plot. And then again, there's more specifics over here. Regarding narration, we want to be able to identify and describe the narrator or speaker of a text. We want to be able to identify and explain the function of a point of view, as in first person, limited third, or omniscient, and how that works, why it's there, how it works, all kinds of specific skills here. And then the last one is about writing. Be able to, at least for this unit, to develop a paragraph that includes, so you guys already had the taste of trying to write the whole thing, but we're going to start with basics and build you up slowly. Develop a paragraph that includes a claim, which is the AP word for thesis, a defensible subjective thesis that requires defense with evidence from the text, and be able to develop the evidence itself in a one paragraph form for this first unit. Less intimidating. Okay, so those are all the things that we're supposed to learn how to do. Shut down that window, back to the usual. So just like you saw in there, we have explained the function of character, and we have 3 videos. The videos are only like 6-7 minutes long, okay? So I'm actually gonna ask you, I'm gonna put up an assignment. I'm a little bit behind on posting assignments today. I'm gonna put up an assignment that asks you to watch these 3 videos, and while you watch them, either have a Google Doc or a piece of paper, and you just kind of take a few notes, and if he asks you to kind of just make a simple little bubble map or something about thinking about character, a Venn diagram or something real simple like that, then you do that, okay? And then when we've watched these 3 videos, I'll have an assignment post in which you just kind of turn in that you've done some stuff. It's just a quick check. It's just me seeing that and I can actually see whether you've watched them or not. It's kind of like Ed Puzzle in that way. So you do need to really do it and not just copy someone else's notes. Not that you guys would ever do that. And we're going to do that by Monday. Okay, and then at the end, after we've read a story from Perrine and watched these videos and taken notes, there's topic questions that are practice multiple choice questions. They grade themselves, and they actually even provide you with explanations as to what the right answer was, and you can see where they did it. So it like kind of runs itself. And then we'll do that with setting, 1 video, topic questions. We'll do it with plot and structure. We'll do it with narrator, and then we'll wrap up with this. And then at the end of about 2.5 weeks, locked for now are an MCQ assessment and an FRQ assessment. And that's when we start getting actual real correctness grades and quality grades on our writing. But that doesn't mean that we take a multiple choice, just like in the summer, that if you get 50% of the questions correct, that you get a 50% of the test. It's not that at all, because these are really hard. So I create an easier grading scale for you, because if you're getting 2/3 of the questions correct, then that should be like an A or a B, because they're hard, okay? But very useful. Okay. So I'll have a post up about it, but I'll turn one of these on just so you can see what it looks like, although there is a function to share audio from a video on Zoom that I haven't figured out how to do yet. But I'm just going to play just 30 seconds of this so you can see what it looks like. So you got your guy talking up here. He introduces the skill, introduces himself, and he's pretty great. Okay, so that's what that looks like. And the other thing that we're going to do, and again, I will post this as an assignment too. I'm going to stop the screen share here, is we are going to read chapter 1, reading the story, in your Perrine anthology. If you happen to have this handy and want to look, that's fine. If you don't, that's okay. It is pages 61 to 67, not quite even, okay? And the main purpose of this chapter is to introduce us to the difference between what we call commercial fiction and literary fiction, okay? Obviously, what we're going to be reading is literary fiction, but the difference mostly is that commercial fiction is for entertainment. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And that literary fiction is hopefully also for entertainment, but it's definitely for, like, more of an intellectual insight or intellectual fulfillment, right? And something that we can study that, again, hopefully has some entertainment value as well, or at least makes us think, which is satisfying if not using the word entertainment. So we want to read that chapter about that stuff and answer those, just kind of quick note discussion type questions on page 67. It asks us to differentiate between commercial and literary fiction, explain the purpose of literary fiction, review the different types of short stories, describe the best way to read a short story for purpose of serious study, and list the differing expectations we bring to reading of commercial and literary fiction. Okay, so those are all in there pretty quickly. It's just a way for us to take notes. I need you to do that And the grammar assignment for tonight, during the lunch bell, I'll get the assignment up for that, but that's what it is. And then those videos, as long as we get those done by Sunday night with those notes, and I'll have a post up for that too. That's it, guys. Any questions? Real stuff now. Let me check the chat real fast because I saw it flashing a couple times. Are you releasing the summer? Oh, thanks for the reminder. Yes, we finished our workbook sections on the FRQ, so I'm going to make a note to myself right now to release your actual raw score. So what I'll do is, I don't know whether I can release the scores on there, but if nothing else, I'll put it on the slot on Progress Book like I did with the MCQ, which I'm assuming everybody's seen by now. Release the FRQ. And do we have yes, I did a raw score grade using the rubric on that not only. All right, choose your own adventure books. Some of the few examples of second person writing and stories. Yes, indeed they are. All right, Mike. Bye-bye.